Hello, welcome. Today we're just going to be getting straight into it. You may notice a few things. Firstly, the stream. Sorry. Firstly, you'll notice that the stream transitions are different. Again, I wasn't impressed with the stinger that I had, so I just decided to remove them entirely, opting for a little bit more of an interesting flare transition than my usual fade in, fade out. So I take a sip of water, and the coaster just fell. That was attached to the bottom of it. So, I also turned up the gain massively on my microphone because I realised that all of these times that I've been doing streaming, my microphone has always been far too quiet. Far too quiet indeed. And I wasn't impressed with it because I was editing the Atom Full video over the weekend, and most of the time I could barely hear what was actually going on in terms of my commentary, so I have turned that up. Sorry if it is a bit loud or whatever. I have, as you can see, downloaded Axiom, which means that I can do that. I can place infinite blocks everywhere. If I go over here, let's find a duck. There we go. That block has now been placed all the way over here, which is all the way from over there, which is great. It may cause me to mess up a few times. However, I do also have this thing, which I have discovered. If I press a certain button, I can't remember what. Is it this one? No. This one? No. Is it shift? No. What button is it? Options. Video settings, I guess. No, it would be controls, keybinds, Axiom. Oh, where would it be? Surely it would be, in this spot, wouldn't you? Is it? Do I have to push 0? Aha, 0. I can now fill this in. Look, if I do this, this entire platform can now be built out, and I barely have to do any work for it. How cool is this? And thanks to us placing the first layer of quartz block here, I could just do that. I can build this thing so much more efficiently now. And I know I initially said I wasn't going to do stuff like this, but after last stream and the frustrations that I had with that, Axiom was just needed, right? So forgive the laziness, alright? But there are things that too many things that I need to build and want to build to be spending a week doing each layer of this, and then obviously there's going to be the sphere up there, which is going to be very difficult. So I guess we could just build this. Here's another thing that I forgot. Music. Now, my stream last week accidentally had a few copyright issues, and I'm not entirely sure why. Because the music that I was using was a copyright free version of Beethoven's Symphony number 38. Turns out there is a specific part in the Symphony number 38 that has been copyrighted for whatever reason across Twitch and across YouTube. So I've had to just cut that bit out. Unfortunately, it does mean that it has affected everything else. And I've been trying for quite some time to figure out what I could do to replace it. And is it this one? Yes, it is this one. I have found a version of C418's Araya Math that I think is pretty neat, and it hasn't got copyrighted on YouTube. I don't think the song is copyrighted, so enjoy it, I guess. It's going to be on a loop. There is more music, however, that is more for if I was to do an intermission for now. I don't want to try it out just yet because I don't know if it's actually going to be good, I guess. The Twitch link, I guess, the connection of Twitch chat and Minecraft chat should also be working, so I should be able to see everything that you guys post. And for when this is put on YouTube, hello YouTube, I am actually doing this on Twitch, so if you want to hop over there, mostly because a lot of the streaming stuff is designed for Twitch. I've tried finding stuff to integrate it into YouTube, but apparently that's a little bit more difficult than a lot of people or want to give it credit for. I think for these bits we're just going to manually do it, it's going to be easier. Same amount of clicks. But yeah, it's... I completely forgot what I was going to say now. Yeah, the reason why I'm not directly streaming this to YouTube is simply because I can't, for whatever reason. I've tried doing some setup for that. However, YouTube has been like, no, you don't have the right stuff for it. And as such, no streaming to YouTube directly for now, so this is just going to be a VOD. And I have run out of things to say. So for now, just enjoy the furious sound of me clicking every so often. And also the music. I forgot about the music. If you guys have anything you want to see me listen to or give my opinion on, I'm not doing politics simply because I don't like politics. Politics is for people who are far smarter than me, and from what I've seen of the internet, far more aggressive than me. And quite frankly, it's just a mess. But yeah, if you want to have me watch or react to a YouTube video of a sort, or listen to a song, perhaps your favourite song, I can critique that, or even add it to my playlist. I would add my Spotify playlist if it was not filled with copyrighted materials, because yay for copyright. Probably, I think, one of my most extreme opinions. Copyright should not be a thing, or should not be an issue for companies like Twitch that are owned by Amazon, who host a grand deal of music because they own the copyright to music, and anyone who wants to listen to music through Twitch or because of Twitch, or use music on Twitch or perhaps on YouTube, kind of, maybe not then, that it shouldn't be something that you're flagged for, unless it's maybe someone being actively reported because they're claiming it to be theirs, which isn't a good thing. And I can understand why copyright exists that way, but it's just a mess. SAG-AFTRA will do all sorts of things, protest for AI non-use, I guess, of actors and writers, but as soon as it comes to any kind of licensing material, they're completely hands-off and siding with the companies again, which not my ideal situation. I'm getting good at this, look. It's the one blocks that are a bit tricky. So if you may ask, well, if you have infinite reach, why not infinite reach your way doing the entire thing? Simply because I don't have any quality control the further it goes out, and I at least want to give the impression that I am placing every block by hand, I guess. Like this, I guess. I have just realised I went into a complete trance of actually placing the blocks themselves, and there's some very heavy traffic going past. I don't know why. It never is this heavy tonight, so sorry if you could hear that in the background. This way I sort of have to build by hand, because otherwise it gets very tricky very quickly. Oh yes, I forgot to mention that those of us on Twitch, for the sake of me not being flooded with bot accounts trying to promote shady business deals under the table, or overtly in Twitch chat, I should say, I have had to change the rules for Twitch chat. But if you, in a sense of you need to be followed for 10 minutes and then you could chat, the reason for that is simply because it is the minimal amount of time that people have found bots don't stick around for to, to post. Unfortunately, that does also mean that people who do want to follow, or who don't want to follow but want to just chat, can't. And as such, people find that off-putting. I'm trying my best to balance it, but until I can actually find a way to adequately moderate the chat, it's just going to have to be follow for 10 minutes and then you could post stuff. It does also mean that you could unfollow because it's not a monetary thing. It doesn't help me, if that's what you're wondering. I'm not doing this for financial reasons, it's just purely moderative. I don't really have people or further bots, I guess, moderation tools to counteract the weird bots that are just trying to get people to sign up for things. Probably should put that as a text, as a text box, so that people could see the rules, I guess. But I'm streaming now. I don't necessarily like changing things despite last week. Oh. Truth, Tuesday is going to happen by the time you're probably going to watch this, or now, tomorrow, if that makes sense. What's everyone's favourite go-to pancake? Mine is usually a smidge of peanut butter with a little bit of banana, and occasionally, if I'm looking for something a bit more savoury, because I make Scotch pancakes. If I'm looking for something a bit more savoury, it's usually a bit of cheese, cream cheese, kind of, sometimes if I've got it in, but mostly a cheddar, like an actual hard cheese, not a soft cheese, and mix that up with a bit of bacon, which, very nice, I've got to say. Very nice combination. I'm not going to be doing a cooking video tomorrow for pancakes. I might do one later, not later as in now, as in at some point, if people request it, because it is, I don't even need to do that. I could just link I could just link the video of the pancakes that I make, but they are very good pancakes. In case you guys want to know what shader pack I'm using a shader pack called Iris. It's technically a voxel shader, So it means that lights are much more dynamic. If I was to, say, put a light, what's a good light source? Natural lights. We'll get glowstone for now. If I was to put light here, right? Normal shader stuff. If I was to put a light here, it will shade that up. But it also means it conforms better to the light radials. Now, some of you probably will ask, why don't I just use a bunch of circle tools from Axiom and build this cylinder up that way? There's the same people that I'm going to say, watch last stream, and you'll figure out why I don't want to do that, because it took 3 hours, pretty much, to get to this stage. And that made me so annoyed that I created an entirely separate streaming not streaming setup, what's the word for it? Tab? Scene. That's what it is. An entirely different streaming scene, just so I can express my annoyance. I guess what I could do is just do one side and then do the other. It saves going back and forth. Ooh, hang on. I have an idea. Why don't we use this? Try using this. Second point, and then we go. Ooh. Ah, look at that. Oh, that saved so much time. That saved so much look, and we can actually see what the wall will look like when it's complete as well, which is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now, if we could we do this? Go up here and then there. What? Where's it gone? I exited it. Right, okay, so I need first point, second point. 1, 2, confirm. Cool, and now we could just do this. Oh my god, look at this, chat. We're rolling. I don't know where that analogy was going. Steaming ahead, rolling about. I'm sure something could have been made there. go in the light side now. Maybe we won't be able to see what we're doing, but look at how much work we've done, and it's only been half an hour into the stream. I wish there was a way to do this, however, without having to oh shit, there we go. Without having to constantly spin your head. And then we could do smear again, make things easier. Oh, it could change like that. I didn't realise I could do that. So we've got a first quarter done. Pretty much, I've just got to do these bits. There we go. look at that. Now I am going to have to move my legs from where they previously were because I'm getting a bit stiff. Apparently this also has a rotate function, but I am not entirely sure I trust that. Tell you what, we don't need to worry about seriously messing things up to the extent that disabled you to be okay. So this one? You do this. And does it work going over here? It should do. And then this. Oh. Okay. Control R. Oh my god, it works. This is great. Now if I was to put this all the way across so that it lines up. Like that. I do that. Holy wow. So you're getting my genuine first-hand reactions to this. If I do Control R again, do the same thing. You know, I used to be really good with World Edit, and I could do all sorts of things, and this is an entirely new system for me. Control R again. But I stopped using World Edit probably 1.13, so it was a long time ago. Like 1.13 had just come out, and World Edit, I think, was taking such a long time that I just stopped using it because it wasn't updating. But now we have Axiom, which I am loving significantly more. I don't know if it's the same team. I don't think it is. But if it is, they have certainly improved their game from the humble World Edit stages of getting a wooden axe and all of that fun stuff. And I didn't actually think it would take 2 weeks to finish. When people say Axiom is a crazy mod because it allows you to build better, I wasn't expecting stuff like this, you know? There we go. That's all fixed. So now I guess it is just putting a lid on it. Well, that and forgot I had infinite reach. There we go. We get rid of all of this stuff. Get some bamboo fence. The reason why we're getting fence is because they're the middle blocks of the 2x2 center which we need. And we get that, and we just confirm. That should be tall enough. That is more than tall enough. Okay. Now we go back to the extrude. We stand here and we do this. I should have Optifine, shouldn't I? No, okay. So even though I have installed Optifine, it doesn't work for whatever reason. Look at this. This is what? A week's worth of building? You know, total hour time, not just, you know, 3 hours of placing the same block over and over again. And then what we can do is we come here. Do the same thing on this side. There we go. And so that is the base done. I don't know how to feel about this, chat. The reason why I don't know how to feel about this is because I started off this project as being like, oh yeah, if I don't use Axiom, if I do every block by hand, I can say to myself, I constructed this. Block by block, piece by piece, I built this. But then last week actually happened. And I guess something in me just went, nope, you've got to use some sort of helping tool. And we managed to build this in less than an hour. Which is insane. Tell you what we do need to do is we need to brighten it up. So we'll get some... Yeah, that's great. We'll get some glowstone again. And we'll just... Oh, they're barely doing anything. yeah, these aren't really doing anything, are they? Destroy those Tetris pieces. There we go. Now, chat. Now we can. What are you doing? That's because I am on the wrong tab. There we go. That has no music. Yeah, okay, so, chat. Crikey. Sorry. Let me just bring up my own version of this image. So, as you can see, there is a lot to do. Right, we've got to build the sphere. We've got to build the outer ledge, and we've also got to build the, the actual external part of the ring. What I think is going to be easier to do is to build up the first ring of trees, right? But we'll build those up, and once those are built up, we could build the rest of the place up, right? Now, initially, as you can see, or probably see, initially I had it so that to give it more depth, the ledge would be slabbed so that I don't have to light it up, and if people were being the heavy part, were to build this in survival, they too wouldn't build it up, because this was going to be a survival build. So should we really continue with doing that? Because this is a creative world, a peaceful creative world, so surely it should be, not slabbed, I guess. But I suppose it would be a lot easier when it comes to the other things as well, because in here is actually supposed to be a staircase that goes around. This image doesn't show it, right? And that's how you get up to this top level. However, should we do it? I'm gonna say yeah. Let's do it, because we could very easily change our mind later. Right? So what we'll need is, for you, that reference image, and for me to get back into the game like so. Is that popping up for you guys? Yes, it is. Okay, so it's just my screen that it's not doing it for. Marvellous. And then I need to count how many slabs are in between. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from the edge, and an additional 7 for the overlap. Okay. What slab should we do it for? I suppose the only logical answer would be more quartz, because that's what we built the rest of it out of. But there's part of me that wants to try pale oak slab. We'll get both, and then we'll see. I imagine it also the quartz slab to be, you know, the normal one, not the smooth one. Where's the front? Here. So we'll start with the front. I wonder why it's done that. It's sort of offset vertical here, but horizontal here. Who knows? Who knows? Well, something that we are going to need to do is open up for a doorway. Now the door, according to my image, is a dome. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blocks tall. Technically 8 and a slab. So we'll do that on the offside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then a slab. There we go. So if it's 8 vertical, 1, oh hang on. Oh, just reloaded everything. Oh, didn't want to do that. Okay, so we're going to have to change that then. Grass, block, block, block. And if it's 8.5 tall, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it's 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2. This. So 3, 2, 1, 1, 1. Like that. I think so. Oh, I forgot how short this platform is. Let's fix that. What have I done? Why has this got holes in it? There we go. There's another one. I think I might have to turn off this infinite reach, you know, because it's becoming a little bit more of a hassle than it would just normally. I'll do that now. Makes things easier. Where would it be? Be in the mods. Axiom. No? Options. Controls. Oh, where the hell did I find it? Video settings. Advanced. No. Performance. No. Surely be in mods, right? Ah, no, I know where it is. Axiom config. There we go. And we do capabilities. Infinite reach off. Done. There we go. So that's 3. 1, 2, 3. This, that, and then that. Right? No. One, 2, 3, 2, 1. Much nicer to control. Two. We'll do that. So that's the hole, that's the opening. And now we could do the top. Look better. Oh, definitely the pale oak. Then we could just say it's tile, marble tile. There we go. And then I had it, because it's got the cornicing on the as part of the front view, right? It's got the cornicing, and I really wanted to try and incorporate that as much as possible. So I guess now what we'll need. Ooh, no. Tell you what we do need is we'll need quartz slab. Right, we'll need quartz slab. Just the normal one for now, then the smooth quartz. Because the underneath we could do the cornicing this way. This is how I had it. That look odd. So I want to try and make it stand out from everything. I mean, I know the shadows already do that, but still. What we could also try to try this, and then we put that down, and then lights, just to make it stand out more. I suppose that's a modification for it, but what if we just do the smooths smooth slabs. For this bit here. Nope, there we go. And then that acts as a visual barrier to say, hey, look, don't go past this, you know, except for the massive event horizon. Not event horizon, just a horizon. Yeah. Do that. Do that. Do this. There we go. So that should allow us every 2 blocks to have the cornicing. There we go. Like that, you see? You know, I haven't really thought about what happens when it comes to this point, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. So it'll be blank 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 2 blank blank 2 and then a 1. It will have a special one at the ends. That way we can just repeat it all. Is there... Ooh, I could do... Bravo. Is there a more solid white? I suppose diorite is our only option. I don't want to use diorite if I can. Not because I don't like it, it's just because it's a dirty block. I suppose if we have to. Ah, I see something that's wrong. Okay, glad that we noticed it this early. So it means that we could just change up everything now. That there, that there, that there. Shift everything over by 1. does mean that we'll have a 1 block gap. I'm sure nobody will mind. Where's that place? It's in here. There we go. Yeah. And unfortunately, I don't think that there's any axiom sheets to help with this one, so it's all got to be hand placed. Like that. Okay, so what we do now is, I guess, expand this. Yeah. Get rid of those. Sorry. Looking at my reference image, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then it's the hedgerows, which is spaced 2 apart, so I'll do those now. Podzol. I like Podzol, especially for planters, but what should be the... Because in my image I have fence posts. I don't really like the idea of the fence posts anymore. And they're too tall. As in 2 blocks tall, so I can't use a sapling. What's this? Dried gust? What leaf block is most similar to the cypress block? Not cypress block, cypress leaves. Cypress trees. Spruce, right? Because it's a fern. Jungle, according to the internet. Jungle leaves is his. Where's the jungle leaves? Jungle. There we go. Now we need an actual... stem. I'm just gonna stick for now with my original plan. Yeah, stick with my original plan. And from the pictures, they're more of a grey, aren't they? Cobblestone? Or andesite would probably be the best bark looking texture, I guess. But we'll do for now is to mark the centre. We'll do those. We'll do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it's on this one. And then it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh. Then how tall are the trees? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We should be able to clone these. There we go. Our first set of trees. Because these are off center, how are they 1, 2, blank, 1, 2, blank, 1, 2, blank. Ah, perfect. There we go. And then there we go. I mean, yeah, it's more weighted to one side than the other, but that's what happens when you have a system like this. I mean, I suppose we could technically cheat. There we go. Just for now. No, that looks dreadful. So, from here, how far back is it to the next wall? Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 per. Okay, so that's at least 10, 17. 17 according to what I have found. What should we start with? I think we should start with, ooh, the perfect block to start with would be this, polished diorite. I'll tell you why. It's because it would make sense when it's next to this, because it will be all dirty. And it's not technically texturing. I know I said I wasn't going to do texturing. It's just, it would look nicer to separate the boundaries of the stuff. So now we need 17 from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Perfect. now we just need to figure out the distance between there and there. Oh, is there not a... There should be... There should be a ruler. Show ruler. Show ruler markings. Ruler markings can be created using the ruler tool inside the UI editor. What's that? This one. Ooh. I am not entirely sure how much I like this. So if we come out to view this, and we do ruler, we do that block to that. Oh, no. Yes? What happened? That one to that one. How do you work? Right, so you are actually there. And then we come all the way out. We do that 82. So we need a circle 82 of... How do I get rid of this? So we need a circle shape, cylinder, hollow, flat, no, okay, so it has to be solid, hollow, active block, polished diorite. Where would that be? There. Control click 82 height. We'll do 1 for now, right? So now we have to I want to click this block, specifically this one. Okay, I guess, and then we'll do that. Has that created it? No. That. Ooh. Oh, that's only the radius. What's 82 times 2? That would be... Let me get my calculator out. 82 times 2. 164. Okay. Control click. 164 as a tube, I guess then. Tube. Thickness 1. Everything else sorted. Aha! There we go. And there we go. Back 1. And further back 1. And enter. We can come out with this. Chat. Very nice. I don't know how we get rid of the ruler. How do we get rid of the ruler though? Ruler. Clear. There we go. Very nice, chat. Very nice. It's starting to come together very well, look. Then the next question is what block should be next, because on this it's the quartz bricks, then it's the chiseled quartz, not chiseled quartz, the quartz block itself. But now we have diorite up here, so I suppose just normal block of quartz and continue the pattern that way. What was the, so it was this one, quartz bricks, then it would be block of quartz, so yeah, and then I guess that. Yeah, work it out that way. Now, how tall is this? One, two, three, 4, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 tall. So we'll just grab this and move it along this wall. There we go. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and then we need this again, 18. And this has also got an overhang. There we go. And then we copy this, copy that, smear it this way, confirm. There we go. Haha. Ah, this is going to be so good, chat. Then what's next? Because you don't technically go on the next ledge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 back. So we go 5 back from here. Is it 5 back from here? 1, 2, 3. So that's 3. That would also be 3, but yeah, no, it's 5. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have. Oh, this I suppose could just be, because this is all trees, so naturally it would be dirt, I guess. Perhaps a little ledge on the top. And then it's just 10 going into the sphere, it's 2. So that's 1, 2, 3 chisel bricks, 1, 2, 3 brick, 1, 2, 3. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I guess just that, because nobody's going to see that. It kind of makes sense for drainage anyway, if we're being realistic. I suppose it just makes things a little bit more interesting. Yeah. here's the thing that you need to understand is that the actual sphere that's here is actually an ellipsoid on the outside, and then it's a sphere on the inside. Like that, and then, no, okay, so I'll do that. Oh, I've got to do that again. My mistake. And then it's another set of trees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tall. Guess we'll just do that. And then yeah, there, 1, 2, there, finish. One, two, yeah, confirm. Didn't want to do that. So we'll do this. Confirm. There we go. Finish. And then like that for number 10. Now, the reason why it's like this, why I laid it out like this, is because initially my plan was to have glass down here. Let me see if I can show you. It was to have glass like this, right? But then I realised that you can't actually connect the glass together unless I was to wrap it around the tree, like so. If I was to do that, it would connect with this side. So it would just be a haze of green with leaves in the middle of it. So that's why I, as a backup, have this resource pack, which may or may not work now. Which, as you can see, adds some funk to the leaves itself. But it doesn't have the cypressy nature to it. It is better for these kinds of trees down here, where it's supposed to be naturalistic and stuff. But instead I have tall, thin trees, so it doesn't really work all that well. So I was taking a drink. So I suppose now it is just a case of copying and pasting this all over again. Damn. Keep forgetting. This is going to be interesting because it's got an overlap here. In the same way as it's got overlaps over here. So I'm just going to do the outer one. I don't know when the halfway point, so I'll just go over to there, I guess. Okay, now I just do this, that stack, that smear. What? we go. So go to this middle point, be there, I come to this point, I guess then it would be, oh, hang on. There we go. If we extrude this higher so that it creates a sort of dial, did not want to do that. There we go. How's that? A couple more blocks. We'll use the smear. Actually, it'll be easier. There we go. Now we could use the clone. Do that. And that. And then we can do Control R. There we go. Confirm, and then we do Control R again. We come over here, perfect, and then we do Control R again. We come over to this side. And that should be that. Perfect. Oh, don't want to do that. We need to shrink this one last time so that opens that up, because then we can build the sphere easier. I'm doing now is basically just marking the inside, so we know where that is. I guess then we could do a clone of, actually no, somehow we need to copy this section all around, which should be very interesting. What I'm doing is I'm just blending mode, normal. I'm bringing this image to the foreground. And the reason why is because I need to copy this into to do that, and then make this bigger. Okay, and the reason why, chat, is because we're going to talk about the actual build now, the main part of it. So as you can see, the trees don't actually go all the way around the build. They only go where the staircase isn't, and I haven't planned the staircase because I was more focusing on, well, actually getting everything else sorted. Now the staircase is going to be very interesting because not only is it going down at increments, right, that are within themselves going to be difficult to do, they're also curved, which is going to be even more difficult to do. And then we have the break that follows the circle, the sphere. That's going to be eternalized. The break in the outer wall that mimics the sphere. Now here's the thing, this isn't a break in an outer wall, this is just another wall which I have to put onto the exterior, which I completely forgot about until I saw this image. Which means that we're going to have to build an even bigger circle, build that up, then cut the hole out of it. Now, you can't see my mouse annotating all of this, so it's fine. But this is the general final product. Currently, we've got the inner tier 1, kind of tier 2, and some of the trees. Oh, and if you couldn't tell down here at the foot of these, at the foot of the cutout, there are statues of lions. And I can't build organics, so we're going to have to find and follow a tutorial for that. And I have to say this image is dreadfully off center. Yeah, that's better. Kinda. So, here is the plan. Because we have another hour to complete this. Complete this stream. I'm going to see if I could get as much of the second tier done as possible. Then next week we can move on to the outer layer here, and possibly even the cutout. I mean, I say possibly even, it's taken us 2 hours to do what would be, in other words, a year's worth of progress using my old method. So a good chunk of time doing this stuff, and then we could do the sphere, and then we could do the inside after that. Sounds good. Now, while I am also here, I need to take a break. So enjoy this new midsection, hopefully.
First night when I went home, drunk as I could be, there's another mule in the stable where my mule ought to be. Come here, honey. Explain yourself to me. How come another mule in the stable where my mule ought to be? Or crazy, or silly, can't you plainly see? That's nothing but a milk cow where your mule ought to be. I've traveled this world over 1,000,000 times or more. Saddle on a milk cow's back I've never seen before. Second night when I got home, drunk as I could be, there's another coat on the coat rack where my coat ought to be. Come here, honey. Explain this thing to me. How come another coat on the coat rack where my coat ought to be? Oh, crazy, silly, can't you plainly see? Nothing but a bed quilt where your coat ought to be. I've traveled this world over 1,000,000 times or more. Pockets in a bed quilt I've never seen before. Third night when I went home, drunk as I could be, there's another head on the pillow where my head ought to be. Come here, honey, come here. Explain this thing to me. How come another head on the pillow where my head ought to be? Oh, crazy, oh, silly, can't you plainly see? That's nothing but a cabbage head that your grandma sent to me. I've traveled this world over 1,000,000 times or more. Hair on a cabbage head I've never seen before.
My mother always told me that I had a splendid voice. In fact, thanks, I'd sing in opera if they'd give me my choice. I wrote to Oscar Hammerstein that I would be his star. He said, come down and sing for me.
Hello, welcome back. Now, in the break, I kind of maybe possibly touched my microphone because it was about to fall off its stand. So if you forgive me for just a minute while I check the audio. Okay, I'm going to need to speak some more, 1 second. Okay, so it seems good. Okay, it's doing its job. I haven't messed anything up. So, let's get back to it. Now, what I actually think, looking at this, is because I don't think that they're going to be individual planter pots. Actually, I think it's probably going to be more akin to what's up here. And here's the thing, I don't think that what's up here is going to be very similar to what's down there, because having a look at both images, they seem to just be embedded inside the actual, this stuff, the floor. I don't think I could properly integrate that, so I think for now it's just going to have to be like this. If not, we could always come back to it and change it. If you guys think that it should be more akin to this style and have a ring going around that way. But this is just proof of concept for now. I'm going to do this next week, I think. I think now we're just going to focus on down here, because that's more important. So we need the copy, the clone tool. Do that. Control R. And then Control F. That flips it upside down. I don't want to do that. Control F again. I see where I may have gone wrong with this slightly. So what we'll do is we'll put this to the edges, and it will go from there. Is this right? Yep. Confirm, and then we do Control R again. We do the same thing on the four corners. Yeah. Confirm. controller. Okay, so now we need to figure out how to rotate all of this. Again. I suppose we just have to do it manually then. Isn't the worst thing in the world. There it is, that's the one that's causing the delay. There we are. Yeah, now we could just build the other way around. There we are. I guess at this point it doesn't really matter whether or not the trees are actually there. The leaves will be there, so we know where they'll be. Control R. And then Control R again. And then Control R again. And that should be everything. Yeah. Finish. You know, I've done this and I've just realised that before we went on break we were discussing that all of this needs to be removed anyway to make way for the actual exterior wall. Not my problem. Deal with that another time. Go around placing the inner logs so that when we extrude things, which should probably extrude, there we go, so that when we extrude it, it smoothens out. It makes it easier to do. It should help if I do the one by the wall as well. There we are. Makes this bit a little bit easier. Did not want to do that. Why has that not worked then? Glitch enable. Integration is already enabled. Why have you not popped up? That's probably for the best. Don't want people going to strange and dodgy websites because some bot has told them to. You know what I could do? Could do the same thing again, but that would negate the point, surely. So I've already done it. I don't care, I'm going to do it again. You know what I could do? Damn it. There's no cycle back option on this, so it's just... yeah, okay. What I could do is I could create a thing. Confirm. There we go. And then place that there. Extrude that into nothing. And clone from this point to this point. Yes. Control R. Control R. controller. Confirm. There we go. We can now we can keep those bits. I'm sure they'll come in handy later. Just the top bit done. Forgive me. So what I'm doing now is I'm just looking at the image showing the front just to see what is going on. So it's straight walled, but we need to determine how far it comes out, which I will do over the week. Seems like a better idea than doing it now. What is fascinating about the front image is the staircase going up to the second ledge, because it's actually a set of pyramids. Now if I was to guess, here actually seems like quite a tall opening. And then where is it? Here. These, we'll say about 5. Okay, well now we need to go to the top. Reason being, is that this is where it joins up to the platform, right? If we do this, and then it needs to come out 5 more, I should think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the steps come out 1, 2. That makes this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. guess this continues the brickwork. Like so. That seems a bit too far out, right? Because then it also needs to come out another set. So we'll do this here to here. Move it back one. There we go. Just do a basic corridor for now. Doesn't need to be anything fancy. There you are. And I guess from here, because it doesn't seem to come out that far, and it barely goes above the trees. We'll say, given the angle, about tree height, and that's, say, 3 blocks out. Gives enough room. What height is this? About here. Should be interesting to get to. But we'll do an extra block out, just in case. This one. And then we need to do the staircase up to that point. And how far apart? No, okay, so Should give us plenty of space to work with this. Oh, and I missed the staircase entirely. Okay, it comes up to a platform. For the sake of argument, I'm going to say this is the platform area. Yeah, so it's going like this. And then I'm assuming it's another staircase going up here. There we go. Now I know you can't really see it through the trees, but I can assure you it is there. However, the fun thing is the fact that on the drawing it sort of got a ledge to it before it actually follows the next set of stairs. So for now we're just going to do that again. And then flicker again. Yeah. Don't know why I destroyed that. Needed that. Yeah. That's gonna have to do for now. Unless we like that. There we go. We do that. That creates the ledge and the overall look that we're going for. Marvellous. Now just time to flicker again. Now we're just going to need to put this back to follow the behind spaces. Flicker. There we go. Now, chat, here's the fun thing. Ow, my foot's dead. Here's the fun thing. It also has a staircase going that way. Now, what we could either do is meet halfway in the middle and have a gap, or we could leave it. Or, alternatively, we follow on from this path and we go down, but we have a jutty out bit here. Again, another alternative, we continue from that staircase, go down, have a space, but in that space put something in there. For now, I think I might just fill this bit in. So this will go into the interior. That's my wood, there we go, my wood. this will go into the interior. That will eventually lead to the sphere. Now for the top part. Now the top part is very easy because we don't really have much to see from the top part, but we do know that there is some sort of flame. Just tile this because it makes things easier later. This could be a stair, why not stair it? There we go. Well, that's a stair now. So we could push that back and then push this back. But then we've got this awkward part. Okay. Bring this forwards. Move that, replace the stairs. There we are. Fixes that. I'm just going to leave this bit for now because there's no real point in me changing it. Now, the source of the flame isn't exactly known, so I guess we're just going to have to make our own thing up. I definitely want to incorporate the flame itself. So I need a hay bale. We'll need campfire. Where would campfire be? Functional block? Yes. Put these down here. And then what can we put for this? How about just some oxidized copper trapdoors for now? I mean, yeah, it's going to diminish the smoke, but no, I don't know how we would incorporate this. Perhaps we could do even, all we could do where have they gone? One of each, like so we get a real combination of the two. And then pots. There's a chimney that doesn't disturb the smoke. And it kind of sort of works. See? There we go. An alternative would be to do glass smoke, which I cannot do, and I'm not interested in learning. At least at the moment. But it's coming together. Look at this. It's coming together quite well. So if this was 82 or 164 across, we've come in 7 from out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This should actually be out one more. Silly me. There we go. And then that there. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then that's 7, yeah. So 7, 14, 164, 150? We could try that. That one. Polish diorite again. Shape. Control click. 150. Okay. There. How do I pan? There we go. Can't fast move in this, which is a bit of a pain. And that lining up with that. Fits there. doesn't fit here. Okay. So does it fit over here? It does not fit over here. It's because it's one block off from over here. So just put that to 1, turn around. That fits over there. It should be just one block difference from over here, and then over here. So it should actually be 152. Check, does it fit over here? It seems to. What about here? It does. At this corner. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is now 1, 2 over here. But that doesn't seem to make sense. Because now this isn't centered, and this wouldn't be centered. No. Hey. No. Poop. 151 then. No. 150. It's gotta be 150. It's because you're wrong. Right? It has to be because that was wrong. So that's sticking out that end. That's now too far in this end. If I do that, that's now that's one block in. And that's perfectly aligned. That's a block in. And that's a block in. Well, that seems to be something for next week. So here's what we've got done so far. Chat and YouTube seems to be coming along quite well. I am very glad that you all could be here to watch everything, and I hope that you're enjoying this series so far. Ignore me, I'm just putting my stuff down. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying the situation so far. and I am actually quite looking forward to how this is going to end. Because my ultimate goal is to replicate Boulée's work, like all of it, or as much as I could get my hands on, down to scale. I mean, it's not going to be 1-to-1 because, you know, Boulée's work was in the real world where we can do any measurement we like for things, whereas we're limited to 1 by 1 meter cubes, and that means things aren't going to be as detailed, nor are they going to be as close to possible. However, it will give you a sense of scale of his work, and I'm quite looking forward to it. I think that people are really going to find his work quite fascinating. Really quite fascinating, because I've seen a lot of videos with a lot of likes and a lot of views of Boulée's work just as drawings and the fascinating tales behind, you know, what Boullée has done. And I haven't really seen people take that into account when it comes to you know, making models and publishing, I guess, fantasy works using his work as an inspiration. Nor have I seen anyone trying to replicate his work, except for the video, except for the world save that I showed you guys last week. And I think Minecraft building as a whole could benefit from a lot of Boulée's work. There are things that I do think are going to be a bit difficult to do. This is because, quite frankly, you're going to have to see, because the structure that I am referencing is massive, very massive, and this is utilizing buildings that he's already designed that are in and of themselves massive. So this is beyond massive. It dwarfs, I'm not going to say that, it minuscules the very big buildings. And I think hopefully when we get to that point, it would be much more of a community build, and we could work on it over the course of quite a long time. I'm just going to put it that way, quite a long time, and using all of the things that we have learned up until that point. If you want to know what I'm referencing, there is a building or project called Temple to the Supreme Being. Now, that drawing was constructed during a time of dominant atheist rule in France. Boullée himself was a Catholic. He created that design purely based off of a way to show grandeur of not only his own work, but also a testimony to French Enlightenment liberal ideals. And obviously it was never actually supposed to be built. It would be ridiculous by any kind of standards, any kind. I mean, this thing would take centuries, and I'm not talking cathedral centuries. I'm talking it would still be under construction now, not only with the buildings but also the earthworks and the plumbing, for the water features. This thing would otherwise be a mountain of just stone and dirt, man-made, put there, and it would be such a engineering feat, a marvel beyond any other. It would truly be the one and only wonder of the world if it was ever completed. It is what I like to call the French Tower of Babel, and you'll see that when we get round to it. And I really do want to get round to it. I think it's going to be a fascinating project to work on, but we've got to build ourselves up from there. I haven't picked the next project yet. I have two designs in mind. One is a chateau design that he designed and also partly helped construction of for the royal family before the French Revolution actually took place. And the second is what would be, or what was, an extension to the King's Library, but eventually would be turned into the National Library of France. And that one we know actually was the closest of his grand projects to be constructed, because we have nearly every single detail about it, from the costing to the materials gathered, where it would be gathered, the details of what tileage, every facet of its construction, we have it down. But that is also incredibly detailed. So I am not sure if I want to do the chateau or the library first. But those two are the next two projects. But we need to complete this first one, and this first one is definitely going to be impressive once it's constructed. I don't think there's going to be a world download for it, simply because there's nothing to download effectively. It would be a little test architectural project to one side, and then the main project to another side, and that's it. There would be no point. But hopefully once we have the cenotaph to Sir Issac Newton sorted, once we have the National French Library sorted, once we have the chateau sorted, and then possibly even once we have the temple to nature, I think it's called, something like that. Once we have those four buildings, I think then and only then will I think it would be a good idea to properly try and sort out some sort of world download, because I think at that point it would be at least a year, and there'll be more people who would want to help out and follow along this amazing journey that I'm doing, or we're doing, I should say. That being said, it is 11 o'clock my time. Our time has unfortunately come to an end, and I would just like to end off by saying you guys have been wonderful so far, and I hope to see you again Friday. If not Friday, if you're not interested in this kind of thing, Monday. Or for YouTube viewers, Tuesday. Goodbye.